Should the Vice President of the International Court of Justice step down? Let's find out. I'm Nick Hanna, criminal lawyer, and welcome to The What and the Why. Today I'm going to speak about a scandal that's currently engulfing the world's highest court, the International Court of Justice. A scandal that not only threatens to undermine whatever credibility remains of the court, but that also exposes the incredible influence of Christian Zionism and its ability to penetrate even the most sacred global institutions of power. On the 10th of August, the Vice President of the International Court of Justice, or ICJ, Judge Julia Sebutinde, declared at a church in Uganda that the Lord is counting on her to stand on the side of Israel. It was the first time she'd given an explanation for being the only judge of the court to vote in favor of Israel on every occasion in the past 2 years. Now, to understand why Judge Sebutinde's declaration was so important, we first need to look at who she is and which church she was speaking at. Julia Sebutinde is a Ugandan judge who's been sitting on the ICJ since 2011. In February last year, she was elevated to the role of Vice President, granting her additional powers and making her the second highest judge on the court. On the ICJ's website, you can find Sebutinde's biography, and it includes an impressive list of credentials that make her suitable as a judge of the world's highest court. But what isn't included in her bio is the part of her life that might be influencing her judicial decision-making more than anything else, and that is her close ties to the Watoto Church. What is the Watoto Church? The Watoto Church is a Pentecostal evangelical church with ministries across Uganda. The church was founded in 1984 by Pastor Gary Skinner and his wife Marilyn. The Skinners are Messianic Zionists who preach that Christians have a religious duty to support Israel in its conquest of Palestine and other countries in the region as part of biblical prophecy that will see the return of Jesus to earth. This is Gary Skinner delivering a sermon in 2021.
The rebirth of Israel tells us that God's plan for the ages is unfolding exactly as He's declared it would, on time. The next event is Jesus is coming back.
The sermon was titled, Israel, the Greatest Sign, and in it, Skinner praises the creation of the modern state of Israel in 1948 as a sign of Jesus' imminent return. What Skinner failed to mention, of course, is that Israel's creation was only made possible with the destruction of Palestine and the violent expulsion of the majority of its indigenous population, both Muslim and Christian, from their ancestral homes in what Palestinians call the Nakba. Skinner's celebration of the conquest of Palestine is entirely in line with the Watoto Church's official position. For example, on the 17th of May 2015, 2 days after the annual commemoration of the Nakba, the Watoto Church posted on X, God has blessed Israel by giving them the land of Palestine as a home forever, as long as they love and serve Him. The post ended with the hashtag #EndTimes, which is an important term I'm going to come back to a bit later. The Watoto Church doesn't only support Israel with prayers, but also with cash.
We as a church give a lot of money every year to support God's work in Israel because we know that God has a plan for the nation, and it's the greatest sign of His return.
The church raises funds for Israel through its annual My Miracle Missions offering campaign, where congregants from one of the poorest states, Uganda, are encouraged to dig deep. This is Pastor Julius Redlonyo, who replaced Skinner as head of the church in 2023, speaking last September.
Hello, Watoto family. Welcome to yet another exciting season where we get to engage with the very heart of God, which is missions. It's our time for our annual Miracle Missions offering. God has given us the privilege to give extravagantly to advance His kingdom.
The money that the Watoto Church sends to Israel goes to the Fellowship of Israel-Related Ministries, or FIRM, which is a well-funded and highly organized network of Christian Zionist organizations in Israel. This is a video made by FIRM to promote the Watoto Church's My Miracle Missions offering campaign.
Hey Watoto Church, we love you guys so much. We are so grateful for you and Pastor Julius and the entire team. You guys are making such a difference here in Israel.
We're so grateful for the way that you always invest into us and bless so many lives across Israel. We know that we couldn't do what we do without you.
FIRM takes the funds it receives and distributes them to partner organizations in its network. How much money is allocated to which organizations, we don't know. But I've done a bit of digging, and what I'm about to reveal is highly concerning, and as far as I'm aware, has not been the subject of any reporting to date. On the 15th of October 2023, when Israel was just starting its offensive in Gaza, FIRM posted on X that it was raising funds for critical equipment for soldiers as part of its emergency fundraising appeal. In November 2023, when Israel's genocide was well underway, Firm posted this video about its donation of what it describes as essential gear and life-saving equipment to IDF soldiers.
From talks I've had with everybody here in the past weeks, I can tell you confidently that people are very happy and appreciative of everything that's coming in, whether it's food, equipment, and just videos and support. It's a big morale boost, and it's going to keep us moving forward for however long it takes. If it's another month or 2 months, we're here for the long run and for however long it takes. So we thank you and hope we can meet you one day and repay the favor.
Amazing. Jordan, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Seriously. Thanks for your service and everything you guys are doing.
Of course,
Keep Israel
thank you very
safe and citizens.
In another video uploaded by Firm at around the same time, someone from one of its local partners is speaking about purchasing equipment for various units of Christian IDF soldiers serving in the occupied Syrian Golan Heights.
And then there was another unit also in the Golan Heights that we helped buy 17 tactical bags. They're very large bags that go in your back. Again, those are not cheap. They're very hard to get. And we were able to purchase 17 of those thanks to funding by Firm for a whole unit up there.
And in this video, posted by one of Firm's partners a few weeks later, soldiers on the border with Gaza thank it and Firm for its donation of combat helmets and tactical gear.
I want to say a huge thank you to ICF Church and to Firm for helping us, our Unit 419 out with the tactical equipment that we need. We appreciate you guys so much and we love your support. We just want to say, thank you!
Some of Firm's partners also appear to provide other forms of material support to the Israeli army. For example, Nativa is one of Firm's youth and young adult partners. According to its website, Nativa strives to support and strengthen the Messianic soldiers serving in the IDF, including by providing preparation programs for the military, soldiers' conferences, workshop nights for soldiers, and more. Yad Hashmona is one of Firm's outreach partners. It's an evangelical Christian Zionist settlement in occupied Palestine that hosts gatherings and retreats for Israeli soldiers. In this video posted by Yad Hashmona in December 2023, its chairperson, Ayelet Ronan, freely acknowledges the settlement's contribution to the war effort.
Half of our men are gone to the border with Gaza, preparing for battle.
Now, I want to make clear that I'm not alleging that any of the funds sent by the Watoto Church to Firm have been used to provide material support to Israeli soldiers. I simply don't have the evidence to make that claim. But what I am alleging is that the Watoto Church has sent a lot of money to an organization that provides material support to the IDF during its brutal offensive in Gaza. And in my view, that's bad enough. Okay, so now that you know a bit about the Watoto Church, I want to talk about its relationship with Judge Sebutinde. Judge Sebutinde's ties to the Watoto Church extend well beyond her attending the occasional Sunday service there. In June 2014, Watoto posted a photo of Judge Sebutinde on its Facebook account with a caption revealing that she was one of the original 30 members of the church when it was first established some 30 years earlier. So that means she's been a member of the church for more than 4 decades now. The photo is of Sebutinde speaking at the church's then 30-year anniversary party, where she is reported to have said the following: "I have the chance to practice justice at the world level because of the values I picked up from Watoto Church. I am proud of Watoto." This is the first documented instance of Judge Sebutinde drawing a link between her judicial career on the one hand and the Watoto Church on the other. The next instance was last year, when Sebutinde endorsed an autobiography published by Watoto founder Gary Skinner. In her endorsement, which features at the top of the first page of the book, she says, "The godly values of integrity, honesty, justice, mercy, empathy, and hard work that the Skinners and Watoto Church instilled and nurtured in me over the years account for who I am today, and have immensely contributed to my incredible career as a judge in Uganda and a judge of the International Court of Justice." While many in the legal world had long suspected that Judge Sebutinde's ties to the Watoto Church had improperly influenced her voting record on Israel, there was no smoking gun. But that all changed this month. On the 13th of August, a Ugandan media outlet that enjoys a cozy relationship with the Watoto Church published an article in which it revealed that Judge Sebutinde had spoken at the launch of a new ministry of the church 3 days earlier. During her address, Sebutinde is reported to have said, "There are now about 30 countries against Israel. The Lord is counting on me to stand on the side of Israel." Sebutinde is quoted to have gone on to say, "I have a very strong conviction that we are in the end times. The signs are being shown in the Middle East. I want to be on the right side of history. I am convinced that time is running out. I would encourage you to follow developments in Israel. I am humbled that God has allowed me to be part of the last days. So there you have it, a clear admission by Sebutinde of her belief that she has a divine duty to rule in Israel's favor as a judge of the ICJ. Now, Sebutinde's reference to end times and the last days is also significant. These are two terms that are often used by evangelical Zionists to refer to the period of mass turmoil and suffering on earth before the second coming of Jesus. It's their belief that Israel's conquest of Palestine is proof that we are living in the end times, and that therefore it's something that Christians should embrace and not condemn. The theory is set out in detail on Firm's website, where it argues that not only the creation of the State of Israel in 1948 is evidence of Jesus' imminent return, but also Israel's military victories, including what it calls Israel's current war against Hamas, Hezbollah, and ultimately Iran. Since Judge Sebutinde made these fateful remarks, various international legal experts and jurist associations have called for her to recuse herself from the Israel genocide case. And it's not difficult to imagine why that would be. Judicial impartiality is supposed to be one of the fundamental pillars of any legal system. People are entitled to expect that judges will make their decisions based on the evidence and the law, not biblical prophecy. This doesn't mean that judges can't have strong political or religious beliefs, but they're expected to be able to put those beliefs to one side when they preside over cases. And the need for impartiality is even more crucial when it comes to the ICJ. Unlike most other courts, the ICJ doesn't have any means of enforcing its decisions. No police, no sheriff's officers, nothing. Instead, it relies on its reputation as a neutral arbiter of disputes between states. And in cases such as that brought by South Africa against Israel, its reputation as the world's conscience. What makes Sebutinde's remarks all the more concerning is that they're not simply an expression of her intention to vote a certain way in the future. Rather, it provides an unambiguous explanation of her voting record over the past 20 months. In January last year, the ICJ found it plausible that Israel's acts could amount to genocide and issued 6 provisional measures, including orders for Israel to take all measures within its power to prevent genocidal acts and ensuring humanitarian aid reached Palestinians under siege in Gaza. Of the 17 judges presiding over the case, only Sebutinde voted against all 6 measures. Even the Israeli judge supported 2 of the measures. In July last year, the ICJ delivered its landmark advisory opinion, which found that Israel's occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip violates international law. Again, Sebutinde was the only judge to vote in favor of Israel on every single question. Not only did Judge Sebutinde cast her votes in support of Israel, but she's also credibly accused of plagiarizing large parts of her dissenting judgment from pro-Israeli sources without citing them. If you want to see more about this, the historian Zachary Foster sets it out in detail in this great post by him on X. So the question now is, what will happen to Judge Sebutinde in light of this scandal? I'm no expert in international law, but I understand there's more than one way that she could be removed. For example, under Article 18, she could be dismissed if all the rest of the judges voted to do so. A less severe option would be for her to voluntarily excuse herself from continuing to take part in the pending cases that relate to Israel. But in my view, that wouldn't be enough. I believe Judge Sebutinde's position on the court is no longer tenable. Her conduct is so egregious that it's not only devastated her own credibility, but it's also undermined the authority of the ICJ itself. The longer she remains on the bench, the greater the damage will be. And it's important to bear in mind that this scandal comes at a time when the ICJ and the international legal system in general is in an extremely precarious position. Its credibility has already been irreparably damaged by Israel's blatant disregard for the court's interim rulings and the complete failure of the international community to do anything about it. If the ICJ wants to maintain any relevance in the coming years, it needs to remove Julia Sebutinde, and it needs to do so now. Okay, so if you made it this far, that hopefully means you value my journalism, so please show your support by liking the video, dropping a comment, and most importantly, clicking the subscribe button. Until next time.